Hey guys, what you're about to see is the session 0 of our Mage of the Awakening campaign, Occultists Anonymous. We're going to chat about our characters, give you kind of an idea of who we are, and this is us getting to know each other, talk about what we want from the campaign. This is going to be a lot of kind of nitty-gritty character stuff. It might be interesting to you, it might not. Primarily, this is also a tech demo. We're going to make sure that we've got our cameras working and stuff like that. It might not look the best. This is just our first step in doing stuff. If this interests you, please go ahead and subscribe, follow us, do all that kind of normal stuff. For future videos, there will be a little bit of a gap before we actually play. I need time to prep after what I've learned from the characters today, but we should have new videos coming out fairly regularly. I will warn you, John, his camera doesn't work at all. He's just not in video today. And then his mic possibly messes up a little bit. So sorry about that. These are technical issues that we're just working out. I'm going to say this now and probably for every video. This is a primarily theater of the mind type of game. The Chronicles of Darkness kind of lends itself that way. You don't need a battle map. So that does mean feel free to just listen to this. Put YouTube in, background mode or whatever you might want to do. The only thing you'll be missing if you're just listening to this is you'll miss our smiling faces and our reactions to what's going on, as well as our little dice roll tracker down at the bottom. So feel free to just listen to this in kind of podcast mode and just sit back and listen to what we're doing. You won't miss anything visually. So thanks, and enjoy session 0 of Occultists Anonymous. But yay, welcome to Occultists Anonymous session 0, where we're going to figure out who the heck everybody is and what we're playing and what do we want from this campaign. So I'm just going to jump straight to the character creation section of Ye Olde Mage the Awakening tome. Somewhere, chapter 3, character creation. And my plan is we're just going to walk through kind of the steps of character creation. I don't care. We're not going to talk about what dots everybody has where. Just more of like the meaty or fluffy part of character creation, kind of introduce everybody to each other. I know we've all kind of been in the chat and we've talked a little bit, so everybody knows a little bit about who everybody is, at least as a mage, but not necessarily backgroundy stuff. So we'll kind of talk over that. Okay, so let's talk about our character concepts. Hey Chris, tell me about Songbird.
So Songbird is a recently retired Norwegian MMA fighter, also known as hashtag Fist Wizard.
Fist Wizard, absolutely, that's one. Ash?
Atratus is a former student, current Ghost Whisperer for the Mysterium.
Cool. And Greg?
Weird is a former corporate spy, retired a few years ago. She is an acanthus with Guardians.
Cool. And hey, John, tell us about Mammon.
Mammon is a penetration tester. Instead of explaining what that is, I will let you Google that and hope for the best. Also, he is a retired bank heister.
Perfect. Thank you. Hey, Greg, tell us about your skill specializations and what makes Word kind of special and unique.
So Weird is a specialist in subterfuge and detecting lies. Sort of a natural ability there. She is skilled in weaponry, particularly swords, and carries a special rapier. She's also skilled in stealth, hiding in plain sight. So getting lost in crowds or that kind of thing.
Cool. All right. Hey, Ash, what's Atratus good at?
I am good at many things. Through my training, I have an occult ghosts, investigation artifacts, and streetwise rumors. And through professional training, I have academics, anthropology, and socialized professional gatherings.
Cool. And then Chris?
Being a fighter, Songbird definitely has a specialization in brawl of various martial arts that he's learned over the years. He is super direct in a lot of like social situations, so I took intimidation specialty of direct threats, and then just over the years of like having to patch himself up post fights, or getting, before he was a fighter, probably getting into just random street fights, he learned to patch himself up, so I got a specialization in first aid.
Cool. And then John?
Mammon is pretty much the polar opposite of Songbird. He cannot use his fists at all, but he is pretty goddamn good with a gun and he is not direct in social situations. He is a scalpel with words. He is very good at getting people to do what he wants and convincing them that they want to do it.
Cool. All right. And then after that, we apply our mage template, which gives us our paths and orders, which you guys can see on the screens. We're not going to go over those. And then path order Nimbus. And this is the thing I'm super excited because nobody's talked about it. I know Craig has his already like planned out. A character's Nimbus is kind of the thing that's kind of left on spells or after spells, and it kind of shows up when you cast. And it's a very personalized thing. And I don't know if you guys have thought over these or read over those. I know Craig has. We're going to start with Craig about what the Nimbus looks like. And so this is, for you viewers at home, this isn't necessarily something everybody sees every time a person casts, but if they're looking with their active mage sight, you're using, viewing stuff magically, somebody will see this. And then, of course, if a mage really wants you to see it, they can make you see it. So, Craig, what's it look like? What's the effect that Weird has when she casts?
So her Nimbus is built around fate and alternate fates. So her long-term Nimbus is you'll catch glimpses of alternate fates, what might have happened had things gone differently. Her immediate Nimbus is like visual fractures, like if you're looking to paint a glass, but that glass is actually reality, and it sort of fractures, and you can see different things happening in the different panes. And her signature Nimbus is sort of a warping effect of that.
Cool.
Yep.
Anybody else got ideas? Know what their Nimbus might look like?
I know what mine looks like. I don't know what the mechanics of it are, right?
Because the tilt, yeah.
Buffs,
we'll worry
right?
about that later. Yeah.
Well, mine is generally just sort of a slight deepening of the shadows in her immediate vicinity, and then like maybe things that shouldn't cast shadows now are. That's when she's directly casting. The remnant is similar to a cloud passing overhead on a sunny day. Just gets the sensation that it just got a little bit darker, even if you are inside in a well-lit room.
Not foreboding at all. Cool. Chris or John, either of you guys have an idea?
Yeah, I think I've got an idea.
Sure.
As far as how and obviously the kind of the effect will grow as our gnosis does as well, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think with Songbird being a straight up just old school Odin worshiper, all of his kind of approach to magic and everything like that is very inherently religious in that way. Mm-hmm. And so I think his remnants are all various different runes and signature runes and stuff like that.
Raised textures on stuff.
Absolutely,
or something that makes
sure.
a shape. Cool.
And then I think as his immediate Nimbus grows, you'll start to get glimpses of branches of Yggdrasil and that kind of thing. Hear the a little bit of bloodlust kind of at the back of your head.
Sure.
Maybe not super duper visual, but very much noticeable if you're paying attention.
That's cool. And then John, I'm putting you on the spot. I saw your message and said you hadn't thought about it, but now that's all the time you get. Any ideas?
Yeah, no, I got nothing. I don't even know what the fucking Nimbus is.
Yeah. So on spells, it's the kind of effect that's left on them if somebody were to view it. So using Chris or Ash's examples, if somebody were to see something that they had cast a spell on, and it was Ash Tratus who had cast something, they might look at it and there's just this kind of subtle darkening over it. It's very obviously supernatural to the mage. Or if Chris had done something, there might be runes or, just hearing a distant battle all of a sudden, something like that. And then Craig was talking about your immediate Nimbus is something that if you were casting a spell and somebody's got their mage sight on, this is what they would see. So I know Craig had talked previously about for Weird, there's this whole what is it in Doctor Strange, the mirror realm. So it's that whole sudden shift in glass, kind of fractured glass look. It would be something like that. And of course, if you don't have anything now, that's fine. And I believe actually every time your gnosis increases, you can just go, I'm going to change my Nimbus. It's going to look completely different now. So any immediate thoughts?
Am I limited to anything? Can I involve any of the senses?
Yeah, it actually does use any senses. I know one of the suggestions for Mastigos is that somebody might hear imps cackling or there's like a sensual touch across the skin or something like that. It does not necessarily need to be visual or image.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that you can smell money around my spells.
I really dig that, especially since I knew what your original name was. That would have been really appropriate. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, there is a Nimbus tilt, which is a kind of buff effect that goes with a Nimbus when somebody sees you cast. But that's not necessarily something that we need to worry about now. Let's see. We've got Arcana. I'm not going to bother talking those over. You guys have kind of already selected them, and I've actually got them on the overlay now with numbers instead of a bunch of X's. Let's see. Rotes, Gnosis, Mana Obsessions. Dedicated magical tools, because this is super cool and has a really good effect. Does anybody have a dedicated magical tool that they've put some time and effort into, or some thought? Because this is kind of that signature, magic item. I was going to say Gandalf has his staff, but that's kind of meh. I mean, I know John was talking about one. John, do you want to talk about your dedicated magical tool?
Yeah, so I was thinking for my tool, since it is so closely tied to my character's past, I was going to use a custom heisting mask that he wears. Now, it sounds ridiculous, right? But the key importance of it is post-awakening, Mammon does not want to be himself anymore. He wants to completely sever his past life. So he takes this mask as almost not just to hide his identity, but to lay over another identity over who he is. So that's extremely important to him. I haven't settled on a design for the mask yet, but I want that to be his custom tool.
That's cool. All right. Anybody else?
I have a necklace. It also serves as my dead brother's, one of his anchors. So
which we will talk about that weirdness later.
Yeah. It's just like a wire wrapped labradorite pendant that was a gift from him, and
cool.
Now sort of a conduit, and also the thing that was directly affected by awakening, which was like touching it, it could sort of feel him. And so that's what pretty much directly led to her speaking to his ghost and then speaking to other ghosts. So
the thing that started it all. Cool. Chris or Craig?
So Weird has her rapier.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Which she acquired as part of her awakening.
Won a riddle contest?
Yes, won a riddle contest with the Fey Prince, and the prize was the rapier that she now holds.
Cool. And Chris, I don't remember actually talking about dedicated magical tools, so now I feel like I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it and trying to come up with something. Kind of my first inclination was just like a small dagger inscribed with like Nordic runes and stuff like that.
Which that's super adamantine arrow too.
For sure.
Like, a blade or something. Cool. All right. So then we've got Rotes and Gnosis. We're not going to worry about those right now. So as far as character building, those were the big things I wanted to touch on. I feel like they give a lot of intro to what everybody is beyond just their path and order. So one of the things I did want to chat about is what everybody is kind of expecting from this game, which I think is kind of the big deal about Session 0. We've talked a little bit about it in Discord, but I like this as being like this is definite, we're all in agreement, all talking at the same time kind of thing. Because John can probably attest to it. I'm a weenie about horror. I'm not interested in like this deep, dark investigation into spooky things that are about to jump out, or houses that are somehow living entities, and I'm going to walk through the intestines, John.
Didn't you tell me that
Stephen King
section made you
Made me what?
nauseous?
Yeah, I was like, I can't deal with this. I had to get up. I was like, oh yes, the walls are moving and fleshy, and I'm just like, nope, I'm all out of that. So yeah, and Mage is not about that. Mage is more about discovering. Now, I mean, yes, I guess we could go into weird, creepy stuff, and we will do weird, creepy stuff. But I'm not planning on doing anything that's like, overly grotesque and weird. I mean, you got Vampire for that. Let those guys go do that. We're going to go like explore like weird happenings, and we're gonna go investigate ancient temples and tombs. Actually, specifically because we have 2 Mysterium members who the Mysterium is all about. Let's collect some interesting knowledge and stuff like that. So that's going to be a big, heavy group, and that's why we have an adamantine arrow coming in to basically babysit and keep an eye on the mage librarians. And then we have the Guardians of the Veil showing up, going, no. We're going to put that in a vault. Oh no, we need to censor that. Yeah. Everything goes into John's vault. Mammon's vault. But is there and we can actually talk about aspirations and obsessions here. Is there any like specific, like, oh my gosh, that would be super cool kind of events or actions? Because one of the things I know I'm going to definitely do is like introduce you guys to a lot of the other supernatural community. So you guys will be running into vampires and werewolves and sin eaters and changelings and Prometheans and those are the ones like mummies.
Your boy wants to fight a Promethean.
Oh yeah, it'll be good. We'll have and that's the other thing for those of you at home who aren't aware. The system is set up so you have all these different books that allow you to play together, and you can totally get a Promethean on the team. And so we have this Frankensteinian guy who's on the team, and you might be friends now, and then 6 months later, hey, the mages have this thing that I need. And all of a sudden now you guys have to fight Frankenstein. Or, I mean, I guarantee you, I'm going to, spoilers ahead of time, the first werewolf you meet will probably be your buddy. And you're going to get to see him in combat. Just that way you know that day when you have to fight the crazy beefed out werewolf that regenerates his health fully at the start of every turn. You guys look forward to knowing, yes, we're going to have to fight that somehow.
Joke's on you. Now that you spoiled it, I'm going to turn him into a marshmallow as soon as we meet him.
Sure, go for it. Good luck with it. Or he ends up turning into the Stay Puft Marshmallow and goes stomping down the streets of New York City, which, by the way, is, in case I hadn't been clear, that is where we're going to set this. Again, for the folks at home, this is not the real New York City. I've never been to New York City. I live down here in Texas, so we do the whole New York City thing. And
I've done exactly once, so I don't know shit about New York.
So this will be, of course, the World of Darkness version of New York. So everything is it's very Tim Burton. It's very Gotham. So stuff is going to be a little bit darker, a little bit spookier. That kind of vibe. While most normal people, sleepers, don't really know that the supernatural is out there. There are supernatural weird things that happen. That's the kind of home base. But we do have a Mastigos in the party, so teleporting to other places is very doable. So yeah, now that I've prattled on and I asked the question and never let you guys answer, was there any places, any things, any stuff that you guys are like, we need to do this because this would be cool?
With my girl, the way I built her, I want to go investigating some super, super old civilizations.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely
I want to do it in Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely find some Atlantean ruins,
yes.
Which will be good. Yeah,
I was going to give her languages Greek, so I could be like, I speak ancient Greek. Let's go. Let's go find Atlantis.
Oh well,
Atlantis exists, right?
Well, that's actually one of the big lore things. Is Atlantis is what existed before the lie happened, where mages ruled and there was no sleepers, there was no quiescence, magic was everywhere, and then the lie happened, and all of a sudden we're now in this fallen world where magic is way more restricted, and mages everywhere have found stuff that is totally Atlantean, and yet it doesn't make any sense. Like, you can carbon date it, and it's from 1 million years ago. It's also from 20 years ago. It also looks like this has like some designs. This looks like, Greek Zeus gods. But over here, this all looks like the Greek version of Norse gods. And then over here, this is all like Spanish architecture.
And also they're using smartphones.
Right, yeah. It's absolutely bizarre. Nothing makes sense. And nobody has ever found proof that Atlantis really existed. It's just the story that mages tell themselves. So yeah, we will definitely be heading to Atlantean ruins because that stuff is so weird and broken. I love it. And but what about more like in New York kind of stuff? Do we want to go mess with sleepers? I think Craig has some desires there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind ushering in some sleepers into the awakening. Not, I'm a guardian, so we try not to let that happen. But secretly, weird.
Well, you guys like to.
Ritual.
Right, you like to like the appropriate and worthy people
exactly.
being
earned the right to awakening. I want to make sure that they get that. Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
And
Chris,
Word has a thing for books. Older the better, the rarer the better. I mean, she's a guardian, so she's supposed to lock that stuff away in a warehouse like Indiana Jones. But she's got a thing for books, so she'd like to get her hands on some of those.
Cool.
At least to peruse before they get locked away.
Right. Chris or John, any particular things that you guys think like we got to do this?
Well, coincidentally, Todd has a thing for books as well. He would really, really like to steal another mage's grimoires.
Oh yeah.
We just may not agree with what happens to them after we.
Sure. What were you saying, Chris?
I had like one kind of idea for a scene in my head was that at some point we should have to get up into the top of the Empire, or to the top of the Statue of Liberty, because there's guaranteed to be hella ley lines up there.
Oh yeah, we will. Oh yeah, and you're a Brimos, so yeah, that is your thing.
Absolutely.
Like let's find where magic intersects. Yeah. There's a whole list of different hallows and stuff like that, and yeah, I guarantee you go talk to the adamantine arrow like boss and be like, hey guys, do we have any place we don't have control over? Because I want to kick in a door and take that over from. Yeah, we'll definitely do some of that.
Drag the nerds along.
Yep. So let's see. So we did that. One thing I did want to mention: World of Darkness is, it's a pretty brutal system. I was showing my wife, who by the way did all the overlay, so yay for her. But I was showing her like how spellcasting worked, and she was like, "Okay, show me how I can knock out Ash's character in one turn." I said, "Okay," and that is totally a thing that you can do as level 1 mages. Knocking people unconscious is super easy. On the flip side, it's really easy for it to happen to you guys, especially if you guys are fighting some big, bad, scary things. So one of the things I did want to mention is I am not out to kill you, because I like Mage as a storytelling system. We're not going to do some dungeon crawls and we're going to be rolling death saving throws or anything like that. That said, I will totally let you guys die if you do the unmage thing and be like, I don't know what's in here, let's just walk in. Mage is all about some research. Mage is all about let's scry, let's look into stuff. Oh yeah, I know, Craig, I see that face. Yeah. Craig is like, no, I'm at all. Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't just like walk into a room and go, I'll trust the fate, let's just
it'll probably be okay.
Yeah, this will be fine. And if not, she just slows time down and then just, skedaddles back out.
I mean, you can alter your fate ahead of time, right? Just to make sure it does go your way.
Right.
I can stack the deck. I can postpone fates or make them happen earlier. I can't stop them from happening. Yep. But I can shuffle it along a little bit, kick the ball down the road, as it were.
Yep. So that'll be really cool. Cool. And I did promise, because I mean, if you have a retired bank robber as part of the party, we have to rob a bank. Yeah. Right? Yeah, we have to at one point or another. Oh, dude, I like we're well, and because here's the fun thing, and especially for those of you at home, casting magic where sleepers are, where non-mages are, is really, really hard. This is, you get the 11 from Stranger Things kind of effect, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've got bloody noses, I've got these weird bruises all of a sudden, all that because you're trying to contain the paradox of your spell, which means, mages could do anything they wanted, but they just have to do it privately or where the mundane sleeper folks don't notice. So trying to actually rob a bank in daylight hours, it literally probably will end up being more like Heat. And we're going to have to go in and, be prepared to literally rob this bank. And then once we're in the vault and nobody's paying attention, then we can teleport out.
That's fine. Mammon knows some guys.
Yeah. Group of 4, this feels comfortable for you, right? Okay. Well, at this point, I have kind of talked through the major talking points that I had planned. We've kind of gone over our the characters themselves. So the one last thing, because I know some folks have it, is, and this is kind of my thought on trying to get the party kind of integrated together, is some of you guys, I think, have some spare merit dots.
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have one extra once I alter some things.
Cool. So that was one of the things that I want to know what you guys want to do for a home base. And kind of, you guys were assigned together the Concilium of New York City and the hierarch there. Oh my gosh, hang on, where's my notes? I have notes, but basically the hierarch, the leader of the Concilium, basically kind of reached out to the Caucasus and said, "Hey, I need some folks to, as a group, I need that I can send out on some missions. I need somebody to investigate some things." And so you guys were kind of shoved forward and said, well, there's some new guys here, and yeah, you can use them. They're not busy. And so you guys were kind of thrown together a little bit. Yeah, Sun in Winter, the name of the hierarch, the leader of the Concilium. And so you guys were put together. I don't know if Atratus and Word recognize each other, may have worked together previously. I don't know if that's a thing you guys want to integrate or not from the little one-shot we did. The events there did not happen, but you guys might know each other at least a little bit. And the same thing goes for Mammon and Atratus. You guys are both from Mysterium, so you guys might have met or seen each other at times. But yeah, what do you guys feel in terms for how each other know each other? And it is weird. Yeah, I'm going to go back and forth on that all the time. One of these days, get it nailed down. But yeah, so what do you guys think for how you guys got together? I mean, you were assigned. You were told, hey, we're going to meet. You guys are going to meet up at the Starbucks wherever, and you guys had pictures on your phones because this is a modern world and you guys can use modern technology. So how did you guys, where are you guys setting up headquarters?
I think Songbird pretty much just was like, oh, I've got this wonderful like penthouse that I've kind of turned into my little like burgeoning sanctum sort of thing, and I think he would just completely offer that up. This whole deal is he's trying to like kind of get rid of some of his old like hangers on and flunkies and stuff from his actual career. And so having people from his new life around and involved in his like home, I think would be something he would be striving for.
Cool. So so Songbird is kind of moneyed up, at least moderately so?
At least, yeah, for sure. I mean, he's like MMA champion, I think is what I said. So.
Okay, so yeah, he's got some money. He's invested well.
For sure.
No weird energy bars.
I think his sponsorships have not like run out yet, even though he kind of like got disgraced because his awakening happened like during a title defense, and he just totally. That's right. Yeah. So he just got like completely knocked out because he's like looking at all the pretty ley lines and shit. So yeah, he's done fighting almost kind of not by his choice.
Nobody wants to put him on a fight card or anything now. Gotcha. So you've got what, 2 dots?
Yes, 2 dots. Place.
Cool. So yeah, so just for the viewers at home and those who haven't looked into it, basically safe place, sanctum, library, and hallow. There's a couple different merits that can be shared within the group, and so everybody can contribute a little bit, and then therefore get a benefit from it. So we've already got 2 dots in there. Does anybody else want to contribute a dot or 2? Because right now, if I remember, let me pull the book up, that safe place by default is just, it's a small, dinky little area, but at 2 dots, it becomes a little bit bigger or something like that.
I think, yeah, it grows in size and in security as you go up in dots.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, so 1 dot safe
like
place.
Doorman and stuff like that.
Yeah. So 2 dots has got a basic security system or a booby trap. 5 dots has security crew, infrared scanners, and or trained dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So we got 2 dots. We got a fairly, we got a doorman and a penthouse. Is anybody else interested? Have some merits to contribute into that?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Okay. Because the other option is if since Songbird is sharing it, everybody can use that space, but might put dots towards something else. I think Atreus, did you have a library?
I don't.
Okay.
I was looking at it. I don't really have the points to spend on it. And most mental skills I'm pretty good at already, so it would just be like a +1 to one of them.
So yeah, we've got the safe place, sanctum, and actually sanctum has got something weird to it, doesn't it?
Sanctum is like an upgraded safe place, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it specifically does something with...
You're allowed to... Yeah, you can practice your magic there away from prying eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So paradox effects there.
No, that's if it's a domain, I believe.
No. You can add more dots to include a domain. But just by nature, it's your magic place.
Yeah, it's your magic place, and it increases your gnosis for spell control, so you can buff yourself higher. So yeah, that is very much your classic, like, well, we have to go fight a werewolf in its den. Okay, hang on. We're going to go back to the sanctum. We're going to buff up. Yeah, we're going to go Super Saiyan, and then we're going to go kick its ass.
Also,
so
like,
yeah,
fiction-wise, there's also like part of the like, what is it, a silver code or something like that? That like the laws that kind of all of the mages kind of agree to is that you don't fuck with another Cabal's sanctum. Like that's basically heresy.
Yeah, there is the Lex Magica.
There you go.
Yeah, and yeah, one of the silver laws is that there's certain things you don't mess with, and this is absolutely terrific for the Pentacle, which is the 5 orders that you guys are kind of part of.
Right.
And yeah, we all agree to these rules. We're not going to mess with each other. Now, of course, there are the Exarchs and the Seers of the Throne who are like, we don't care about these rules, whatever. But at least you know that your buddy that you may have borrowed a grimoire from, he might come knock on your door and want that back, but he's not going to completely tear down your sanctum. So even if we have 1 dot, we have a wimpy, but we do have a sanctum, and because Songbird is providing a safe place. So I don't know if people want to do that. And then there's the Hallow. So you actually have a place where mana is generated slowly, and that kind of gives you guys a place, because normally as mages, you have to scour your pattern. So you have to take some damage or reduce some physical stats for like 24 hours. In order to start recouping mana. So it's great in like a downtime situation where it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to be a little bit wimpy today, and I'm going to get some mana. But when you're in such heresy for Songbird. But it does mean that instead of doing that, or say the werewolf has come knocking and you guys are tapped out on mana, you guys have a Hallow where you can go, well, there's 4 or 5 points of mana that we can pull up.
It says it can save 3.
Right, per dot, I believe. So
okay, 3 times the dot rating. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if even if you have 2 dots, that's 6 mana for right now at your guys' level. That's half your mana pool. Not to mention, you can be recouping mana every day. Besides that, so you guys interested in putting points into that kind of share amongst yourselves? Because even if you guys have like 1 dot each, though, if I remember correctly, I think Craig, you're completely tapped on merit dots.
I am completely tapped on merit dots.
So the rest of you guys, though, might have something there.
Really, it's also okay because like that is one of my aspirations is to found a sanctum or like to convert my house into a sanctum. So
okay,
that
sure.
Kind of could be like the first kind of story achievement sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thing you work towards.
Yeah.
On mine, I'm pretty used up. Like I can't really take. Well, I go for the lower level trained observer. I guess they give me 2 dots to spend.
And this is just prompting discussion. I don't care. There is the order status that you can basically call on to kind of request, hey, I need access to a Hallow for a little bit, or a sanctum.
So what are we looking at? What is it that we're looking at contributing for? A Hallow and
a sanctum.
A sanctum.
Yeah, Hallow, sanctum, library, any number of those. So yeah, like any of those ones that can be shared, because like the personal dots, like I'm gonna call Songbird out for a little bit. He's got 2 dots in resources. He's got some money, but that's not something you can share easily. He's also got a dot of fame. Again, it's something he cannot share. things like safe place, sanctum, hallowed, those are allowed to be shared and anybody can draw from as long as they're part of the cabal.
Yeah, I'll drop Trained Observer down to 1. That'll give me 2 dots to spend.
Okay. What are you saying, John?
I have 1 to 2 dots to spend. Definitely 1. I'm just trying to decide. I want to lower this 1 merit down to 1 dot as opposed to 2.
Gotcha. But something to think about. We don't have to make decisions now. We obviously have Discord chat for that. But that's one of those things that specifically thought as a group. The other one was a cabal theme, which we kind of have a built-in one for those of you who are paying attention. Songbird is obviously a bird, and Atratus is a type of vulture. So we have a little bit of a bird theme kind of going on.
Caw.
Yeah.
Well, and don't magpies steal things?
They do.
Yes.
Ooh.
They're thieves.
For sure.
Yep.
They collect shinies.
Yeah. Lots of shinies. That is 1 dot, but everybody has to contribute to it or has to buy it for it to work, which is the downside. So it might be possible that you guys don't have this yet. And that might be something that you pick up with everybody's first XP because it's just 1 dot. But what it does let you do is that they have basically you then have an extra dot, an extra point of spellcasting, and where basically you guys call on the power of your mighty foursome,
Like the power of friendship.
yeah, and and using whatever particular theme that you guys have determined. So if you guys have this kind of subtle bird theme, using bird feathers or bird calls, I don't know, that's up to you guys, because the mage system is kind of open. I think actually, Somewhere, didn't you say that like that was your awakening?
Yeah,
you went to Central Park and started
he
screeching out something.
Yeah, he climbed a tree in Central Park and started like imitating bird calls and stuff.
Mages are weird, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I can provide bird skulls if you want them.
In any other game, this would be weird.
Oh,
But this is
totally
mage.
on board with that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that does work though, because I could put 1 point in the safe place and 1 point in the cabal theme. If
Okay.
you want to do that.
So yeah, that would bump the safe place up to 3. So you guys would have a larger space, a little bit less cramped. The last little thing I'm going to talk about, and fortunately that apartment kind of reminds me, is starting equipment and gear. Tratis has a full collection of path tools that she has crafted herself. I love it. And anybody else is welcome to have already said, hey, yeah, I had these, magical tools that are with me. That said, as long as it is, if it's a path tool, so hang on, I'm going to do this from memory. Cup, coin, mirror, rod, weapon. As long as it is part of the materials that tie to your path, then it works. I believe it's Thyrsis have it really easy because they're like, oh yeah, it just has to be any kind of natural unworked thing. So they're like, stick is a rod. I can literally pick up a stick off the ground and I have a rod. Mastigos, I think they have to have worked objects. So you have that different kind of stuff. So as long as it matches that, that's all it has to be. So it doesn't have to be something that you've set aside for yourself. But I imagine all of you guys have been awakened long enough that somebody said, hey, by the way, you probably need these couple little items. But equipment beyond that, I imagine everybody has clothes. Most people probably have some kind of transportation. I almost said car, but possibly not. We are in New York, so somebody might have a bus pass. Yeah, pass, subway pass, something like that. I don't know. Do they use passes in subways? I don't know. Whatever. You have some,
You have cards.
MTA card.
See, there you go. Yeah, that's right. So the question, I was curious because it will possibly matter. What kind of weaponry does anybody carry, or do you guys all rely on just your magical skill to get you out of a rough situation? Because, I mean, you guys might be newly awakened-ish, but all sometimes this might, result in a fight. You might have to get a little rough and tumble. So what does everybody carry for personal defense?
I am, as of yet, undecided.
I mean, I've got my dedicated tool, which is a dagger. So if I need to actually go with a blade weapon, but there's not really much that I have to. I mean, yeah,
you got your fist.
You just kick their ass.
Wizard.
Muscle
Yeah.
wizard cast fist.
Yes, he does.
I've got my rapier. That's kind of the only weapon I'd really have.
Just carry that around on the streets of New York.
Well, under my coat, yeah. It's not like hanging from my hips, swinging out there.
Yeah, I've got a gun.
And out of curiosity, how does a university student get a gun? Did you literally just go buy this, or is this something that might be a little bit more questionable?
So that's probably perfectly legally required or acquired.
And Mammon, Mr. Bank Robber, did you use force in? Well, no, actually, I think you even said that you're specialized in firearms a little bit, right?
I haven't fully decided what he's gonna have just yet, but yeah, he's specialized in fire.
Gotcha. So possibly pistol or something like that.
It would definitely be small and concealable.
Gotcha.
Makes
Okay.
it easier to get it into places where he may need it.
Sure. Makes sense. And I mean, I'll be honest, you're a space mage. You can literally go hand into and pull that out of your your dresser next to your bed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the absolutely ridiculous stuff that mages can do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I've got 3 words for everyone.
Mhm.
Control gravity, and then also parkour.
And just like up that building. Okay, sure, yeah. It'll be terrific. It's like mass transit. Why bother? I'm just Spider-Man, or actually probably a little bit more Daredevil, I guess. Less swinging, but yeah, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to some of that. We kind of touched over them a little bit, but everybody has aspirations and obsessions, and this is kind of your way for generating beats, which themselves turn into XP, which I'm also realizing I have to figure out a way for you guys to track arcane beats separate from regular beats, because the character sheet doesn't have that. So I'll figure that out. Real quick, we can run over everybody's aspirations, just so everybody here and at home has an idea of what our immediate desires might be. And of course, these might change. We'll have our first session, and so you guys might finish this session and go, I need to change a bunch of my aspirations because they're not happening anytime soon because we're going to go do this thing. But yeah, if anybody has some aspirations they specifically want to go over, go for it, Chris.
So I've got a couple short-term ones. Do something incredibly reckless with my newfound magic.
All right.
That's more of a like Chris wants Songbird to do that sort of thing.
Right. Not necessarily Songbird's plan.
Yeah, no. I think it's just going to happen. Obtain a sanctum. And then my long-term aspiration I wrote as gain friends and lose flunkies.
Oh, that's right, because you have your little hangers on from your MMA days. Sure. Cool.
Yeah, Jimmy Smalls.
Yeah, I saw that. Jimmy Smalls, your buddy who put a bet on you and then you got knocked out.
Yeah, he's not happy with me. And then
your obsession.
My obsession is to craft a weapon worthy of the gods. I think with Prime being kind of one of my big focuses, he's going to learn, I think maybe just even do some regular like mundane blacksmithing training and like learn to craft weapons.
Cool.
Gonna make a Mjolnir.
Something like that. Or something that like of that like kind of
that level.
Yeah. He wants it written into the records kind of thing.
Very cool. And I'm sure there's a bunch of adamantine arrow guys that are like, yeah, do that.
Me, please.
Let me borrow it. Yeah. Anybody else have some aspirations or obsessions this year?
My aspirations, I've got short-term investigating ancient mystery and get better at matter manipulation, because right now I'm not as good at it as I am at death, and I want to bring them equally rather than being a good death mage and a all right matter mage.
Sure.
My long-term aspiration is to acquire my own identity, sort of like, because at this point her life has hit rock bottom and she's basically brand new to Mage World, very little connection whatsoever left in the Fallen World, and she's trying to figure out solidly who she is. So it's like, find a place in the world with friends and figure out who you're going to be now.
Make new friends. It sounds like you and Songbird are like side by side here. That's
Yep.
For sure.
And my obsession is to help make this brother, whatever way that may entail.
Which, well, the DM will totally not abuse this in any way and make it.
Yeah. Do you remember those senators we talked about earlier?
Yeah, the ones who want to put ghosts. Some of them want to send ghosts straight to the underworld, and other ones just like, oh yeah, we'll help you find your way back home. And oh yeah, Craig or John?
Weird's all about fate. It was a very big part of her awakening, so she wants to explore that arcanum a lot more. She ended up waking up on her own, and it was a very terrifying experience for her. So she's looking to help shepherd someone through that process, sort of in violation of what Guardians kind of stand for. So that's something she wants to do. She skipped the whole labyrinth process, but it sounds very intriguing. So she wants to end up not leading, but being the hand behind the labyrinth of her own.
Cool. And pausing you there a second. So for those of you at home, labyrinths are what Guardians of the Veil do, which is they create all these false trails that lead people down away from real knowledge. And the people who see through these falsehoods, they're the ones that the Guardians of the Veil go, okay, you might be worth keeping around. And they give them a little bit more stuff and then more false trails. And it escalates up until they're finally like, okay, you're good enough. And then they try and usher them into being an awakened person. However, if they determine that they're not good enough, then as the little cult, they send them on suicide missions or
just other them lost in the labyrinth forever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and sorry, and I interrupted. What was your obsession?
So obsession is to find a rare or legendary grimoire.
We are definitely heading to some Atlantean ruins. And John, if your mic is still working.
Hopefully.
Yep.
He's been out of the game for a little while. He just wants to steal something. Big, small, important, unimportant, candy bar, doesn't matter. He just wants to steal something.
Okay, sure.
As far as his obsession, I haven't gotten that far yet.
Cool. Yeah, we will definitely flesh those out. And then yeah, for our first session. Well, I think I have an idea, so we will figure that out. I'm super psyched about this. Is there anything else that you guys needed to talk or ask me about? Because I realize I've been asking a lot of questions that I didn't really give you guys a chance to ask anything.
No, I think we went through. Yeah.
Yay! That was a lot of shaking of the heads.
No, hang on. We cannot let him off that easily. He said 9 o'clock. I'm asking questions till 9 o'clock. Who is your daddy and what does he do?